Hello and welcome to
Okay.
Health with Kylie and Kylie, where we dive into the world of health and fitness, guiding you through the journey of nurturing healthy habits. Today, we're focusing on a crucial aspect of health, and it's nutrition, but specifically how to communicate effectively with our children around it. So, hello, Kylie Ham. How are you?
Hello, Kylie Jade. Hello, listeners. I am very well, thank you. I bit of a life update. I guess we didn't really do one last week because we had Tiles on the show.
Yeah.
So what have I been up to? It feels like a whole lot, but not much. So training is going well. I had deload week, and then this week has been training week. Testing week, not training week. So I I guess I've had like a couple of easier weeks with training, which has been nice. But I also have made the decision, and I messaged my coach this week that I'm not going to do a build phase at the moment. I feel like I'm not in the right space to give that my all at this time. So, and I'm ever since I've made that decision, I've been really happy with that decision. So, a few things going on. So, yeah, I'm just happy just to keep my training progressing along nicely, but no build gains at this time. How about you, Kylie Jade? What have you been up to?
Good on you, firstly, for recognizing where you're at and what was best for you and your personal circumstances. So that's awesome. um, Me this week, similar, a whole heap of busyness, everything going on, but nothing in particular. um, just working, kids, training, a couple of group fitness classes that I run. I'm sort of mid-program and I am well into my build phase, so we've put on a little bit of weight. But I had my check-in this morning with my coach, and she reflected back to me like I'm 3 kilos heavier from a certain point of time ago, a few months ago, but my measurements are the same. So I must be growing muscle, I guess, because I'm heavier and I'm not putting on the fat. So that's good. We're going in the right way. But apart from that, just, showing up for myself, coaching, working, same old, same old.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome gains there for you, and um, it's so like I guess inspirational to be in that space where you're comfortable with having put on weight. And maybe you can talk about it a little
Yeah.
bit more in the future as you go on, in terms of when you get to that point where you're not comfortable anymore, or and the things that kind of
Yeah.
run through your head at that time. But I think it's amazing that you are at that stage and you're doing that. And if anyone doesn't follow Kylie Jade on Instagram, you should follow her and check out some of her gains as well that she's clearly making. So yeah, good on you. It's an awesome achievement. So keep going, and we're all behind you.
Awesome. Okay, I suppose we get into this episode. What did you want to start off with, Kylie Ham? I'll let you jump in first.
All right. I guess, we want to talk about the importance of having those conversations with your children, whether they be intentional or not intentional, but just being aware of the language that you're using around nutrition, and
Mm.
why it's important to start those conversations at a young age. So, we both have kids, children. They're a little bit older, but I'm sure, and we'll talk about our experiences today with our own children, but also like with having seen people talk to their own other children about that as well. But I think research shows that early exposure to healthy eating habits affects our lifetime patterns. So most of what happens when we're younger, the language around nutrition, how we're brought up, like a lot of our clients, I'm sure, Kylie, Jade, and from personal experiences, it goes back to how you were brought up and your food habits and your nutrition, like when you were growing up. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, most of your, I guess, adult beliefs and habits around food, yeah, stems to how obviously you were raised and what you saw and knew and were taught growing up in the home. So it starts with, yeah, us parents leading by example, and watching, as you say,
Mm.
how and what we say.
Yeah, so we want to be teaching our children, and everyone wants to be teaching their children from a young age. And parenting is no easy feat these days or at any time, and everyone does their best. And I think it's important to recognize that. Don't beat yourself up over, if you feel like you did something wrong or you said something wrong. But it is important just to be aware that teaching children about nutrition from a young age can empower them to make informed choices about their diet and about their health. So, Kylie, how can parents lay a strong foundation for healthy eating habits from early childhood?
Well, I guess it probably sounds quite simple just to say it in a simple term, but obviously parents could lead by example themselves. So monitoring those healthy habits and eating patterns and behaviors, because yeah, kids are sponges. That's how they learn, from watching and modeling parents. So if I know myself, I'm more of a learner through watching and experiencing than being told what to do. So I often say to my daughter, like, I try and show my daughter, like, lead from example, I guess I mean, like from the front. Like, I model healthy eating habits. She eats pretty much what I eat, because that's what she's grown up with. So I guess that's the biggest thing. Yeah, leading by example.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
100.
also
Yeah.
obviously giving them the option to try new foods and have that
Mm.
food available.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit more. Um, I guess, and that's really important, that leading by example. Like, there's no point saying something to your children like, "Oh, you need to eat your vegetables," but then you're not eating your vegetables, or you're
Yeah,
not having any vegetables, and we'll talk about also the importance of language, I think, behind like saying good food and bad food as well. But we want to
yeah,
create a positive mealtime environment for children, like as much as you can, like involve them in meal planning, involve them in preparation, even if it's just something really simple. Obviously nothing dangerous with knives or anything until they can be trusted, but just simple things like to assist with dinner time, or meal preparation, or making breakfast, making lunches. And yeah, like you said, have a variety of foods or options for them so they can explore their taste buds, and they have those options to choose, different foods. They're not like subject to the same foods all the time.
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, obviously a little side point there as well, with the planning and preparation. Maybe ask them what food do
Mm.
you what dinner do you want Wednesday night, and see what they come up with, and then maybe guide them if it's not the best options. Maybe we show them how to build a more balanced plate and suggest some vegetables with their chicken nuggets, so to speak. But let them help pick.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like, and yeah, giving them choice. Like, it might be, giving them options, like 3 different options, and pointing out like the benefits of each option to them as well. So, and you might be surprised by the options that they choose and what they pick, but it's really important to be having those conversations with them over, what are we going to have for dinner? Include them in the planning, include them in the meal prep. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some of the language, I guess, and trying to simplify some of our nutrition concepts, I guess. So breaking down basic terms for kids like protein, fats, and carbohydrates. What do you reckon about that,
So I
Kylie?
guess this is all age dependent, but I guess it's depending on the age of the child, but I guess as young as I could understand, like you can break down it's quite simple in the term of like carbohydrates are fuel. They can make us run faster or longer or play with our friends for more time and things like that. And then when it comes to fats, like it's good for a healthy brain so we can be smart at school and that sort of language. And when it comes to protein, like it helps build healthy, strong muscles. We can jump and just it depends on age group. Obviously, you can explain it a little more scientifically to teenagers, but for young little kids, we can just simplify it in simple, fun terms.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important to be using that language, I think, from a young age, like in especially with terms like fat, because fat is obviously can be a very negative term. So um, we want to be careful of how we're using those terms, and that eating fat is not necessarily a bad thing. Like it's actually a good thing. It's actually
Yeah,
an essential nutrient that your body needs to keep your brain healthy, for example. So yeah, using those terms in a positive way
especially
as well.
yeah, especially when on the ads and stuff you see fat-free yogurt and stuff like that. Like they can hear that. They know that potentially that sort of language means that it's not ideal to eat, and it's not always the case.
Yeah, perfect. All right. You can use visual aids, I guess, if if your child's not quite understanding language. You could use diagrams or things like that to kind of. And look, there's some great children's books out there, I'm sure, about the human body and talking about fuel as food as fuel, rather. So yeah, there's different kind of aids out there as well. If your child needs that, so look into those. There's heaps out there. All right, what else do we want to talk about?
And just in that relation, like the visual and stuff, I'm sure they're still teaching it in schools, but you can also touch on like the healthy food pyramid is still a decent concept to stick by, where you prioritize like the healthy foods and more sometime foods towards the top. You can recreate it to suit your family. Like you might have the vegetables that they love down the bottom and the chocolate that they love at the top, or whatever it might be. But yep, that's another way to visualize our sometimes foods and our all the time foods.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I think you can get like the really cool kids plates as well that have like the pictures on it of like you have your meat here and your vegetables and your carbohydrates and your good fats. So they're a great tool as well that you can use with smaller children as well to help them kind of get that concept of balanced nutrition.
Yeah, awesome. And that
Which
also might
yeah
help
is
with the
what we
picky
want.
eaters
Yeah.
out there. Eating off a fun plate.
Try anything. We'll talk about picky eaters in a minute, but yeah, definitely choosing like a rainbow, using the colors of food as stimulation for the children, especially when they're younger. Encouraging them to eat a rainbow of fruits and vegetables. So, and even just having that concept of, oh, eat your rainbow. So, so you've got that. It's a bit more exciting for them. That's cool. All right. Um, we talked about moderation and teaching moderation. Um, what are some
Yeah.
ways you can make nutrition? What are some ways you can make nutrition fun for kids, Kylie?
I guess we slightly touched on it, obviously, with the fun plates and the rainbow talk and all that sort of stuff. But obviously, that's not going to work for your
Mm.
10-year-old. That's more the younger kids. I think encouraging them to, yeah, help cook. Like, I don't know many children that don't like to get involved. Obviously, teenagers can become too cool to be in the kitchen with mum or whatever, but there's a lot of kids that love to get their hands dirty and get involved. Even food shopping, like I know
Mm.
it might be a chore to drag them along,
Mm.
but help, get them helping, I think is the first step.
Yeah, definitely. And you can, shopping's a great idea, although I know like it might be a nightmare to some parents to take their kids shopping, but you
Would have been
can,
around.
yeah, get them to help. Get the little kids trolleys. They have fresh fruit like usually available at supermarkets for kids, which is great for them to eat on the way round.
Yeah.
You can, yeah, turn it into a bit of a game. I guess when kids are older, you can start to teach them how to read nutrition labels as well, and that's a good thing you can kind of do in the supermarket. Being aware of even like the advertising on labels about, how it's low fat or high protein, but really is it, or is that just the advertising?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
And I suppose also, like, you could
Um,
also get, like, with my daughter, sometimes she's a bit older, she's 14, but I get her to write out the shopping list and can you group it into fruits and veg,
mm,
meats and dairy and that sort of stuff. And so
mm.
she's, without even knowing it, she's learning to group her veggies and fruits and to group what dairy and yeah. So I guess that's, I'm lazy with writing my food shopping and she's learning.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I love it. Like, there's other skills that are coming in there in terms of like organization and time management, and yeah, as well as those nutritional, educational skills behind that as well. So, yeah, that's a really cool idea to get an older kid involved. And look, when they're old enough, like send them shopping on their own as well, like, or you know, stay outside the supermarket and have a coffee or something. Well, put them in charge. Like kids love and thrive on responsibility. So whether that's in the kitchen, if they want to make something, even if it's like not something you really want to make or need or anything, like if they're passionate about making it, like yeah, give them the chance to make it and give them as much responsibility as possible. Let them make a mess. Don't worry about if the eggshells in the batter or whatever. Like it's not going to kill you. So yeah, get them involved. Get them
Absolutely.
involved. All right. What about picky eaters? How can we have any strategies to help with picky eaters?
I probably am not the best one to talk about this because I was very blessed and got two children that were not picky. My daughter's getting worse now that she's a teenager and rolls her eyes at most things, but as 10 and under, I was very, very lucky. So you can chime in anytime you want with the picky eating strategies.
So I love food, and my kids weren't picky eaters either. But I have witnessed picky children, and obviously spoken to
Mm.
parents who have kids who won't eat, or will only eat pasta with nothing on the side, or whatever at the moment. And look, I think it's important to note that generally it's just a stage, and try not to stress too much about it. There's different ways that kids can get nutrients in. And obviously, if you're ever concerned that your child is not getting enough nutrients, take them to the doctor straight away, especially if they're losing weight or something like that. So, because children are not supposed to lose weight, especially younger children. So encourage to obviously offer a wide variety of foods. Keep trying, just keep having that variety of foods there. Keep being a good role model for that, just to expand their palates. Offer different types of food in different forms, like raw or cooked. So, example, carrots, vegetables, like they don't have to be cooked. Like they can eat them raw if they want to. There's no reason
My
it's not any less nutrition dense.
my brother wouldn't eat cooked carrots until he moved out of home. I think he started eating cooked carrots when he was like 27 years old. Mum would keep his raw carrots separate on his plate while she cooked the rest of our dinner for years. So yeah, you can eat raw carrot.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I love that. It's like, and we've all got like the thing, our likes and our dislikes. So, like I don't like cooked tomato very much. Like it's disgusting as far as I'm considered, but I love raw tomato. I hated lettuce. I went through a period where I hated lettuce, like did
Yeah,
not eat lettuce. But now I absolutely love lettuce. So like we all go through stages. So
I suppose
yeah,
probably something else
just
to point out as well. Like palates change.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So
And obviously, we also
yeah,
touched
just
on the making it fun and all that sort of stuff to maybe curb picky eaters as well, encouraging it. Yeah, a fun time of eating food, and they won't even realize. Another thing my mum actually did to my brother, my poor brother, she used to lie to him and tell him that like tuna bake was actually chicken, and like in chow mein, the cabbage was noodles. Poor kid got lied to.
yeah, yeah. I am sure that she is not the only parent out there that lied to their child about food. Like I hands
Absolutely.
down, probably every parent has done it over time. Like I remember sneaking vegetables into spaghetti bolognese, because it's the only way you can get vegetables into children at a particular stage.
Absolutely.
So yeah, do what you need to do. Like make a vegetable pizza, anything
Mm,
that whatever they like, whatever they're going to eat, like and in the end if it's a Vegemite sandwich, then it's a Vegemite sandwich. Like it's fine. They're not going to
absolutely.
they're not going to eat Vegemite sandwiches for the rest of their life. No way. So, let's talk about older kids. We both have older children. Um,
Yep.
what about handling peer influence? My daughter literally just rang me. It's funny. Should have got her. I should have put her on speakerphone. Um, handling peer influence and societal pressures around eating healthy habits. So this is a bit of a big one.
It is quite a big one. I was just thinking of how to even tackle it. Um, Obviously, we've got to teach them to start off with making choices that feel good to them, that don't make them feel shit about themselves, don't make them question the eating habits, something that, obviously aligns with their goals and values, I guess, that they know and trust from how they've been raised. If it feels wrong, it probably is wrong.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. Like I think we can all relate to like thinking back to when we were at school, and all the different lunches that people had. Um,
Hmm.
and like it comes from like we're a big mix of cultural diversity as well, and I think and children can be a bit judgmental in this department, but I think it's important that, we do try to just have that positive reinforcement, praising, the good choices, the healthy choices, but not putting them down when they're making unhealthy choices as well. Yeah. So and with teenagers, I mean, I've learned, having two daughters, like the language that you use is so important. Um, yeah,
Absolutely.
in terms of what body image, and nutrition, like, and you don't want to be using terms like, um, good and bad food, and also like, or saying things like that's bad for you, like,
Yeah.
instead, you want it, so try not to be negative about the food, but rather be more positive about the healthy choices. Does that make sense?
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly bang on point. Like instead of saying, as you said, that's bad for you, and even worse, that's going to make me fat, or that's going to make you like,
Right.
yeah, the language is completely needs to be positive.
Mm.
Yeah, and I guess it comes from a younger age, an older child's age, teaching them the healthier option, the better option, but nothing's best or worst when it comes to food. Like food's food. We need any type of food really to survive. Obviously, some is way more optimal than the other, and you can have stuff sometimes, but let's not fill our whole diet full of the not so good, not as nutritious food.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
I was just
for
about to
example,
pull the
yeah,
trigger.
for oh, okay. So yeah, for example, choosing like water over like a sugary soft drink. So, focusing on the positive choice behind that, rather than, saying, oh, that soft drink is going to rot your teeth, or it's going to, make you fat or give you diabetes or whatever. So, like, trying to just celebrate the small victories, and definitely no language, regarding, like Kylie Jade said, making you fat. That type of language will stick with the child, and affect them. So, we don't,
Yeah.
don't want to be saying things like that. So, use your positive language and encouragement, to instill their confidence in their food choices, which is great. And you want to have a positive
And
attitude
once again, like
towards eating.
when
Like,
you're talking about your own food choices, um, don't say the same sort of things about what you're choosing to do. Don't sit on the couch and go, I shouldn't
mm,
be eating this Tim Tam, it's going to make me fat, or it's going to go straight to my hips, or
mm,
anything like that, because they hear it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and the same goes for, I think, like, oh, I've got to go and burn that off now, burning off the food that we eat, like, or
Mm.
food is a punishment, anything like that, then it's not really going to foster that positive attitude towards food. So you want to, try to focus the language on how the food makes you feel, I guess. Um,
Mm.
and and say, I don't feel great after eating that, or, rather than saying, oh, that's going to make me fat, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
um, let's talk about, so modeling healthy behaviors and attitudes, but obviously a big one that I like to talk about is, eating together as a family and eating at the table.
Yeah,
um, what are
absolutely.
your thoughts on that, Kylie?
Well, every night without fail, we sit at the table as a family. We eat together. I'm a big one for table manners, so it's a chance for me to pull up the table manners for starters. But yeah, it turns food into. It's not so much focused about the food, to be honest. It's more like we're enjoying a meal together. Um, we're sort of talking about our day, but also like I'm sitting there eating this food with you, I'm modeling what we should be eating as a family. I'm not sitting there eating a separate meal and telling them to eat a bowl of vegetables and I'm eating a takeaway pizza. Like, I'm sitting there eating the vegetables with you. I guess, yeah. So I sit there every night and eat with my family. I
Yeah.
don't care. Like, you can do it until where you move out of home, and then you can still come around and eat dinner at the table.
Yeah. I
What about
like I
you?
love that. I think it's so important. Yeah, I think it's so important to, and especially as the kids get older, it is harder. They have their own schedules. Like my daughter often doesn't get home until 8:30, and so it's past dinner time. So she'll eat it, but I try to like make her dinner, sit with her, try to talk to her about her day. But she's often very tired, and like that's her downtime as well. But I think eating, like sitting in front of the TV and eating, um, doesn't teach that mindful eating. So you're going to be just eating focused on the TV. And like, I'm sure you probably do. You have a rule like no phones at the table, Kylie?
Yeah. Yeah, just no distractions. So obviously, yeah, to hone in on that
Mm.
mindfulness.
Mm. Yeah, you mean, I think more importantly, you want to be focused on each other and communicating with each
Mm.
other. But also, you do want to have a little bit of that focus on, okay, what am I eating? What does it taste like? Am I full now? Like those kind of things. So, yeah, it's,
Absolutely. And I'm guilty for it
and,
too. Like, when I eat my lunch or breakfast, I'm alone and I am so guilty for scrolling through my phone while I eat, and then I'm gone, and then I realize, oh, my lunch is gone and I haven't even realized that I've eaten it. So yeah, that mindfulness
mm.
is a very big priority too.
Yeah, yeah, and look, yeah, I'm 100% guilty of it as well. Like, um, when Kate, like eating dinner when Caitlin's not here, my partner and I will often sit in front of the TV, and be eating, or yeah, same thing, breakfast. Is probably either at work and I've started work, or I'm on my phone. So yeah, it's
Mm,
it's tough, but
same.
um, yeah, it is a good practice to try to work on. I guess it's something that I definitely need to work on, about yeah being a little bit more mindful, while we're eating as
Yeah, it
well.
helps with the hunger and full cues as well, and trusting your body to let you know when it is full.
Mm,
So yeah, you don't
mm,
overeat.
yeah, and what I love too is like food like brings people together. So I think
Mm,
like you want to try to yeah like give the children those experiences of, and this is where like eating out often comes into it, but eating out should be about the people that you're eating out with, not so much like the food. Obviously you're going out for good food, that's fantastic, but yeah, it should be about the experience of enjoying a meal together. And our culture as Australians is not, when it's not, we're not huge on that, but I
mm.
know a lot of other cultures are, and I think it's a good thing to try and have those experiences with the children when that you're really enjoying each other's company, and you're sitting down and you're sharing a meal and you're sharing a laugh and you're sharing experiences, and how does that make you feel? So yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, do we have anything else we want to talk about? We've been going for a little
Um,
while now.
yeah, I think we've sort of wrapped it up. We've covered like the younger children, the older children, how to like encourage them to have good eating habits, and how to get them involved, and how to sort of
Mm.
educate them without even knowing that they're being educated as well. Because no kid really wants to learn if they have to learn. So I think we've covered it all.
Yeah, perfect. I think yeah, it's really important to remember the goal is not just about like you don't want to teach children what to eat, but you want to instill like a lifelong appreciation about nourishing their bodies and caring for their health. So, yeah, that's what we're going to try our
Yeah,
best to do that. So we hope that this
absolutely. And it's not
helped
going to
a little bit.
be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us today. And please leave us a 5-star review and some positive comments so that other people can find us. Like and share our
Yeah.
episodes. And we will be back next week with another episode. Thank you, Kylie Jade. Have a fabulous week.
You too. Goodbye for now.